Okay, hello everyone. And I am super duper excited for today's episode. I had a chance to talk to Momo O'Hare. She is a fellow San Diegan, although she might be in Japan by the time this episode comes out. But she did live in San Diego, and then when we recorded, she was still in San Diego. And I met, well, I guess I found Mo on Instagram when she was still doing the bodybuilding thing. So her Instagram at that time was a mix between bodybuilding and modeling. Since then, she has kind of shifted mostly over to modeling, and we'll talk about that, her bodybuilding experience as well as her modeling. And if you look on her Instagram, her pictures are fire. Whether it's like the super sexy ones or even like the very classy, delicate, soft looks. Like, I'm just such a big fan of Momo. So when I found her Instagram, she was Momo Muscle, and that's kind of what I still remember her as. But she has since gotten married. We touch on that as well. Her husband, how they met, their relationship. And, I've known her on Instagram for a few years now. But funny thing is, we both live in San Diego, but we've never actually like hung out in person. We've bumped into each other at the gym, and it's always been very nice, very cordial. But she's one of the many, I would say, Instagram friends that I have, where where we talk on social media, and we're very supportive of each other. And but everybody's very busy, so we've never had the chance to get together in person. So I was super happy that she agreed to come on the podcast when I asked. And this was before I launched the podcast. So she's literally one of the first few peoples that I got to talk to on this podcast. And I learned so much about her in the hour and a half conversation we had. And honestly, it just makes me admire her even more, learning about her upbringing, her family dynamic, the different things she's gone through, the life choices that she made to get to where she is today, her just confidence and groundedness in who she is. And I think Momo is the poster child for do not judge a book by its cover. Because if you just look on her, and she admits this as well, if you look just on her Instagram, you would probably get a preconceived notion of her. But if you follow her, watch her story, get to know her, there is so much depth and intellect behind that beautiful face, those beautiful tattoos, and those perfect titties, and a great ass. Let's not forget that. But underneath all the outside physicalness, she is as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside, and so smart, so educated, a heart as big as her ass. And it was just such a beautiful conversation, and I was so happy she agreed to do it. So without further ado, here is my conversation with Momo O'Hare. Okay. Hi, Mo. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I know you're super busy, so I super appreciate this. Um, so yeah, well, I guess we'll just get started. I'm not sure how I first found you on Instagram, but I know that's how we first connected. I wasn't sure if it was through bodybuilding or your modeling pics, but for a while we were both on Precision Elite. Was that?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
Ellie actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's right. You just haven't competed, but you're still with the team, right?
Hmm.
Do you plan on competing, or are you more into your modeling?
I will compete again. I don't want to say like never, but
Yeah.
I'm not very good at it. Um,
What do you mean by you're not very good at it?
well, I probably did about 6 times. Doesn't
Oh,
matter
wow.
if 15 people or if there's 2 people, your girl's gonna come in almost last.
Oh.
um, I think when I'm in that mindset of competing and like being on prep,
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot stop thinking about food, of like diet or just focusing on like modeling. I don't have a lot of that like food noise um,
Mm-hmm.
in my head, so I'm less stressed, and I actually enjoy going to the gym and I enjoy like
Yeah.
choices. But it's kind of like one of those things are told that you can't do something, that's all you want to do. So when I have to do an hour of cardio or 2 hours of cardio, I do not want to do it. When I'm
Yeah.
told I have to have, 6 a day, I don't want to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll compete anymore, but I might surprise my year.
And you switched divisions, right? Because when we first met, you were in figure, and then wellness came to the U.S., and then you moved to wellness.
In It was in 2013. I actually started out as bikini,
Okay.
and I competed in Hawaii. I
Oh, nice.
place. I saw the figure girls competing, and I was they're doing. I want to do that. So the next year, I went up to figure, and I competed in figure for about 4 shows, I think.
Oh,
And
wow.
I always felt like I wasn't for figure, but I was too for bikini. So in well,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, try this. And then at
Yeah.
the last show, the last time that I competed, I think 2021, there were nobody in my class. So I
Oh,
won by default, which does not feel like a win,
yeah.
especially when you're prepping for so long and then after bus and I
Yeah.
got place. So it was like I started questioning like why am I even doing this? Because I don't really see it going anywhere. So I just decided
Yeah.
to break, and now that it's been 2 years and really myself doing it again. But like I said, I could change my mind. Like if my husband wanted to eat and he asked me to prep with him, I might do it. But
Yeah.
besides that, I'm not super.
Yeah, I did see that your last wellness show. For what it's worth, you looked amazing, and I think if there was a lineup, you still would have placed pretty high. But it's definitely disappointing when you put in all this time, work, and money to compete, and there's not really a competition per se if there's no other girls in your lineup. Um, so I think that's really dope that you and your partner, your husband, has similar lifestyles because he's very fit. I see you guys going to the gym all the time. Has he competed before?
He has.
Oh,
So
okay.
he has done, I think, 3 shows. Um,
Okay.
so just neat. But he did it under Will. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, he's done those. He usually plays like right in the middle. Like say if there'll be like 10 guys, he might get like 6. And that's usually like been like what's happening. So I think he kind of feels like I do, where you put in all this time and money and effort.
Yeah.
Um, and I think part of it is I think you really, really have to love that sport. Like you really have to love it. And
Yeah.
I don't think that I think like we like working out and
Yeah.
we like doing things together and for me I like getting dressed up and I feel like it's a really cool way to like show how badass you can be but still like really embrace like your feminine side. It's like a beauty pageant. But
Yeah.
like wrong women. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think before I got into bodybuilding, I always thought of bodybuilding as a male dominated sport, you know, like the really big jack guys. Like, the only guy I really knew was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, I'm going to be fully honest. But similarly, as I get into bodybuilding, kind of what you said, I think it's such a beautiful balance between like strength and femininity, because the bikini, the heels, the routine, it's all very feminine and meant to highlight the I guess female physique, you know, in whatever category it is, but it's still all very feminine. And even, I don't know if you follow Chelsea, even as a female bodybuilder, I think her routine is so feminine, it's so beautiful. And I'm just a huge fan of yours and Chelsea's as well. So when did you first get or I guess you said you did your first show in 2013. What came first, the modeling or the competing?
Actually competing. So after
Okay.
my actually after my second show, I did figure in 2014. Yeah, 2014. I you know how like you can buy the pictures, like they'll take like
Yeah.
fake pictures
Oh, wow.
on a wall, and I was like, me? Like what for? Because you know I have always loved like I always bought like Oxygen, Women's Health, but also like Harper's Bazaar and like Maxim. Like I just loved magazines. I loved looking at like different body types and like different styles and stuff. And it never once crossed my mind that like I would have an opportunity to do that. And I don't know why I had those like beliefs, but I just thought like, wow, this is so amazing. But like that opportunity is never going to come my way. So like when he asked me to shoot and he wanted to do like, from, it was so long ago. I don't remember if it was for a calendar or for like something like featuring women of the hour. And I was just like, "Are you sure you want?"
Yeah.
One of my girlfriends went with me, and it was a bikini shoot. And then, you know, he full set up the lights. He had an assistant. And I thought that I was going to be really nervous, and
Yeah.
it was so fun. And once I did it that one time, I was just like, "How can I continue to do this?" Because that felt more like me than like ever like getting up on stage and competing.
And you said that was in 2014.
Yeah.
Okay. So how, I guess because it was just so random, right? The show photographer just reached out to you. How did you know to like pose or how, what to wear? Did you do your own makeup? What was it like for your first shoot?
I've always even for like that for competing like one time, like weddings, whatever it is. I mean, always done my own hair and makeup. I've always been like really into it. I used to like steal
Hmm.
my mom's makeup. Like when I was like 10, like I started stealing like her eyelash curl. Like I loved it. So I wasn't worried about doing my. I asked him like what I should wear. And he was just these flowy dresses. I was like, I gotta get everything.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't know anything about posing, but he had his assistant. She was amazing at like guiding me, giving me tips, telling me like how to arch my back and like on pose and you know how to angle my face like in the light. And it just kind of stuck with me. And I think it helps having someone there to guide you, especially if you're
Yeah.
brand new. But it also, you know, you take selfies and stuff, like, you know, like your angles. I feel like it might sound a little bit silly, but like you can practice at home. Like you can practice in the mirror. Like you can, I think the weirder it feels, the better it looks, like in terms of posing.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's funny that you mentioned that you can like, I feel like that was such a Tyra moment, right? Because on Top Model, Tyra will always tell the girls like put a light there and practice your angles
yeah,
in the mirror, practice your body. She's like, it's meant to feel awkward, right? It's meant to feel weird. So that's so funny that you literally repeated, Tyra Banks like suggestions for her girls. Like anything you can practice and get better, even taking pictures. And I think that's something that people don't um, always realize. But it sounds like you were quite a natural, right? Because
Um, yeah, I think so. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why I really did
yeah,
it, because it did feel natural and I felt very comfortable doing it. And
yeah,
I'm
okay,
like I look better even when I'm like I think I always like question like is this uh
hmm,
which maybe why I'm so hesitant to like try to compete again, but with like thing and like coming up with like concepts and modeling, it's so fun and I love it, and I almost feel the most like myself when I'm
that's
doing it.
awesome. And one thing I really appreciate is that you do photo shoots. How do I say, like in all phases of your body, right? Like as bodybuilders, we know we go through a lot of cycles, and for a lot of people, especially girls, they don't want to do shoots unless they're crazy shredded or they're at a certain leanness. Um, how what advice would you give to girls who are in deep off season, or they're not, or just not even bodybuilders, just girls who want to take some photos or take some sexy shoots, but they're not necessarily quote unquote a bodybuilder or super fit, super lean, super cut. What suggestions would you give, you know, to those girls?
I mean, it's definitely in the beginning. I would not say yes to a shoot if I didn't have like X amount of notice. Like if someone, if a photographer, even if it was one that I was like dying to work with, if he reached out to me or she reached out to me and said, "Oh, are you available to shoot this weekend?" In the beginning, I would say no
Okay.
because I thought, "Oh, I have to go on before I can do it." So I definitely was in that mindset in the beginning. I was like, I
Okay.
look perfect in order to like to do that. Um, and then I think it did take me a while. I think maybe like during the pandemic, right around then, like right before it started, or maybe like the year before the pandemic started, I was kind of like, I'm gonna say yes to opportunities no matter how I feel about myself. Because I kind of felt like I was taking opportunities away from me. Like I was being my harshest like critic. And,
Mm-hmm.
the reality is I'm not always lean, and I love to shoot. So why am I depriving myself of something and missing out on opportunities based off of how I perceive myself? Like that's not really fair to me. So yeah, I think maybe it was like 2019. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start saying yes. As long as it wasn't like a weird shoot.
Yeah.
Say yes. And I'm gonna show up and they're gonna get what they get and work with me again, like they will, and if not, then it wasn't meant for me. And honestly, last year I kind of fell back in. I think I was just burnt out from competing. I was burnt out from diet. I stopped really like caring about what I was eating and like consuming, stopped weighing myself, all of that. And girl, I gained almost 70 pounds last year.
Oh shit.
6 months. I did not. I was like, I wouldn't even get about shooting. I wasn't even really posting on social media, maybe like on my stories, but like I was going through it, and I was hiding like sweats and like oversized flannels. Like I did not feel good. So it's kind of, I don't want to like contradict myself, but the thing is, when you don't feel good about yourself, I think, and I think, but I do think that you should love your body at every stage that I work on. I'm trying to do. So I was like, I'm gonna start shooting again. And I was terrified because I hadn't lost any weight. I was still like 60, 70 pounds heavier than I'd ever been. And I did a shoot in January. Um, and my husband came and he was just like hyping me up, gassing me up, telling me I looked good.
I
And
love that.
I saw all of them. I think I liked two out of like maybe everything that I got back. And I was like, fuck it. I just posted them anyways. Um,
And they look great, by the way, because I follow your Instagram very closely.
I was like, I can continue to talk about myself and like not feel comfortable, or I can do. I was like, I got together, so I started like back to the gym, doing all that in February because I was just so uncomfortable, like
Yeah.
how it looked. But yeah, I don't think that you have to be super lean. I've never been lean. I've never had a six pack. Like I down in size and weight probably my entire adult life. And
Hmm.
um I think like when I shoot it's kind of just like a celebration of myself where I
I love that.
and now I don't really care if someone doesn't like the way that I look.
Yeah.
I have to be
Yeah.
happy with myself. Like if, it's not risque enough, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like post whatever I want to post. And I used to delete things, didn't have enough likes. I turned my likes off. I don't even want to know how many likes something got. I don't even look at it. I'm just post whatever I want to post because it made me feel good when I did it and it makes me feel good when I look at it. And so like that's really, really like you gotta be so freaking confident in yourself that no one else's opinion is gonna like make or break you. And I think
And and
it's
have you always had that confidence? I mean, like you said, when you gained a lot of weight, you felt some type of way, and I think that's very natural, right? Like we're all human, but overall, do you think you've always kind of been pretty confident, or was this like an acquired skill that you had to practice? Not, I don't want to say later on in life, but in your adulthood.
I think that I have always been I think I've always been confident. Um and maybe those moments that I haven't been, I never really like showed anyone.
Hmm.
I don't want to, get off topic or anything, but like I do really struggle with like mental health and that so I know like when I'm gaining weight and when I stop caring about those things that I normally care about and those things that are really important to me and I start like gaining weight, it's a much bigger picture than like me just, overindulging. Like it's like a where there is some serious stuff that I'm either not addressing or like stuff that's like really going on that I'm having a hard time dealing with. And um that's when I have to take a step back and like really figure out like what's going on and not like wallow in it. But I feel like even when I'm going through the worst, like I do still feel really great for me like being who I am. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I have tried to stay myself. And I know that like when I show up for people and when I show up like for certain things, like I give it my all. Try to be like my most authentic self no matter what. Like no matter what I'm going through. And I feel like when you do that, how could you not be confident? Like when you really know who you are and you really know like what's important to you and like who you are at your core, it's like you can't really be shaken by like anything else like going on outside. I don't know if
Um, I mean, yes, everything you're saying is I totally agree. I guess what I'm asking is because personally for me, growing up, I came here as an immigrant. I came here with my parents from China when I was 5. So I grew up in the American culture, but my parents are still very much Asian. So, or very much like, Chinese mentality. So growing up, I was not very sure or secure who I am because I felt like this is who I want to be. I want to be just a normal, average Asian American girl, but that was not accepted at home. I have tattoos and piercings now. And I'm 30 plus years old. I'm a licensed attorney, so my parents don't say anything. But when I was 18, I hid my first tattoo from my parents. When I got my piercings, I got ass whippings along with those piercings. So I was very unsure and insecure in who I am because I wasn't sure if was I being too Asian? Are these people gonna just look at me and be like, she's so fobby? Or am I like pretending to be someone I'm not? Like, I'm not American. Nobody's gonna look at me and be like, oh, you're American. They're still gonna be like you're Asian. Where are you from? No, where are you really from? My favorite question ever, right? Like, where are you really? So I guess my question to you is, when did you have that self groundedness? Like, did you, even as a little girl, were you always just like, I'm Mo and this is what I'm gonna do? Or was that more of a like an adulthood
I
thing?
was it was younger because I'm a first generation American. My mom grew up in the Philippines, and
Okay.
my biological father is also Filipino. So she married him to the United States. She was super young. And then after she had me, they divorced. And then she married my stepdad. My stepdad adopted me when my dad passed away, I think. And so I grew up with my mom and my stepdad since I was like 3 years old. So
Okay.
a white stepdad. I have my mom is Filipino, but she's mixed. She doesn't necessarily look Filipino. And then you have me. I look hella Filipino. I look more Filipino than my mom. I don't speak English. And I have brothers who they just look white. They look like white boys. And I have two little sisters that are adopted, and they're both Chinese. So, like, when you talk about a blended family, like, I
Oh
have a
wow.
hella blended. And so I have always felt like the odd man out, always, my whole life. I don't have siblings that look like me. I don't look like my parents. I don't look like anybody that I know. And
Interesting.
I did not really have a really kind of I've always felt different, but I've always really liked that I was different. I
Yeah.
always liked that there was nobody else like me. And it could have definitely gone both ways. Like I could have it probably could have like really wrecked me, like feeling like you don't have that
Hmm.
identity. But I think I kind of flourished in it. I mean, I grew up in Orlando. I didn't have any Filipino friends. I knew one other Asian girl, like, and I met her at church. She's Korean. She was adopted when she was a baby. We were thick as thieves. We were like best friends growing up because it was almost like, oh, I know that one other Asian girl in friend.
Yeah.
Us really knew what that meant, but I
Yeah.
did towards each other because it was what we had, like we didn't look like anybody else.
Yeah. It's like that old saying, birds of the same feather flock together. So you found someone who had your similar feathers, even though, we know there's still so much diversity within the Asian culture, but somehow we all get like mushed into it.
Girl, cool. I'm bringing food in for lunch, eating like lunch.
Oh man, yeah. School lunches are rough.
I'm eating breakfast,
Oh man.
pancakes, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And yeah, and kids would look at me. They would always ask me like, why are my lips so big? Why are my legs so big? Like stuff like that. Where I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I don't have the answer for that, but I like looking like
I don't have an answer for that. Yeah, I know. As kids, like how are we supposed to answer that? Like, what am I supposed to tell them when they ask me why my eyes are so squinty or why my face is so flat? It's like what?
like, oh, you're Filipino. What did your is your mom here? What does she do? Making
Yeah,
stereotypical.
yeah,
Oh, my mom must be a nurse. Um, like asking me like, "Oh, you must be good at math." I'm like, I'm not that kind of Asian, okay? I'm not a math Asian. I'm
Yeah.
just like I always did like hear those like stereotypes and stuff. I still even get asked today. They'll, same thing like
Yeah.
from California, grew up in Florida. Where are you really from?
Where
Well,
you really from?
you're asking me.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I get that. It's annoying.
and speaking of, your very Filipino mom, what does she think of your look now? And for those that are just listening and who doesn't know Mo, as she's beautiful Filipina. Right now she's got a bob, but she's worked with different looks, but she is pretty inked up from neck to toe. She's got some hot flowers on them cheeks. She's got some hand tats. So a very like not at least for my parents growing up, I know this would not be the look that they want for me. I know even the little bit of tattoos I have now is not what they would want or imagine for me. So I'm curious on what your very Filipino mom thinks of your tattoos.
So my first um in college, um, I used to work at a bank. I was a teller. And one of the girls was like, "Hey, I'm going to go get a tattoo after work. Do you want to come with me?" I never had a desire to get a tattoo. All I ever wanted was like my belly button pierced. Uh, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go with you." I just went like tagged along, and I remember or like people, one of those like tabloid scenes. Nicole Richie had like little angel wing tattoos on her back, and I was like, "Oh, she's like so cool."
Was it during the Simple Life era?
Wing tattoos on her. So
Yes, I remember them. They're like tiny little wings, though. I'm like, girl, I know you're small, but those wings are not going to lift you up. Like, I know you a petite little thing, but those wings were like, what, like maybe 3 inches across? They were tiny little wings. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I just get them done. I wasn't even really thinking about the consequences because, like, I lived at home during college. So I was like, cool. Then after I did it, I was like, I'm going to be in so much trouble. Like, had a pool. We lived on a lake. Like, I'm always in, like, my bikini.
Ooh. This was when you were still in Orlando? This was still your Florida days? Okay.
Yeah, 18. I was a freshman in college, home, working as a teller part time. I was like, I
What did I do?
they did it for a little bit, and so then I was like, got away with them to get another one. So they never said anything because they never saw it. So I was like, something else. I got something really small on my arm, and I just got it right in the middle of my arm. And then I was like, this one's gonna hurt inside, and I was feeling stressed. So I was like, I don't want to keep a secret from them.
Yeah.
My mom while she, I drive to my mom's office, and I was like, she can't beat me at work.
She's so smart. I have never thought, because she's got to be professional, right? She can't just whoop your ass or bitch you out because she's at work. Oh man.
Mom, both my parents, like always worked in like finance and like banking. And
Okay.
not gonna beat me at her office.
I love that.
Her office, like had a sweater on, walked outside too. So was like, "What did you do?" And I showed her, and she was like, "Wait till your father finds out about this." And I was like, "What?" So I was like, "I love you, bye." And so I go home, and I didn't hear anything. And then my parents get home, and they were like, they called me into the kitchen, and she, "Look what your daughter did." And like, I knew I was in trouble when I wasn't her daughter anymore. When she was like, "Look what your daughter did."
Right.
But they're like, "Why would you do this? This? Why did you get it done?" And I was just like, "No, I just like, liked it, and I'm 18, blah blah blah." Like you can
Yeah.
like we used to live under a roof, and even then at that point, I was like, I already did two. I already got yelled at. I'm just gonna keep going. Like, fuck it. So I kept adding onto my arm, and she would get so upset, and she's like, "You have enough. You have enough. Like, you need to stop." And she'd say, oh, you used to be so beautiful until you did this to your body. And when I graduated from college, I had like quite a few, and I was like, well, I'm going to join the military and I'm moving. So as soon as I moved to Hawaii, first time, like I was an adult, like I'd already graduated from college, and I was in the,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not I ask them for permission, but like deep down inside, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But I just started like adding like more and more, and then I would kind of gaslight them because like when I would see them, they're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "This is old. What, you don't remember this?" Like,
That's so funny. Like, you're getting senile. I've had this one since forever. You've already seen this one.
and then they can't. I mean, what are they gonna do? I'm 38 years old. Like,
Yeah.
no. I mean, now it's just like, I'll show them stuff because at this point, I just get things that like make me laugh. Like, I just got like a Baja Blast tattoo on my leg, and it's huge. It's like praying hands, and it's
Yeah,
like
I think you posted on your story.
glass cup and Baja be blast, and then instead of like a rosary with like a cross, it's like a necklace with a bell, like a bell, and it makes me laugh, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna get whatever I want.
Yeah.
So yeah, like what? None of my siblings have piercings. Like I'm black sheep, but um, it took them a while to come around, and they have definitely like accepted it. Like they both follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
Like,
Wow. So what do they think about your modeling and your Instagram? Because it's risque. There's definitely some spicy shots.
yeah. Well, my dad's never liked it.
Right, right, dads.
My one of my brothers does not follow me. Um,
Okay.
like I don't want to do that shit. My sisters follow me. My sisters hype me up. They love it.
Yeah.
She she just learned how to like look at stories. So now she
That's so cute.
responds to like stories and stuff. So like stories I have to promote my I'm like, oh, you're not seeing my stories tonight. But yeah, they like them sometimes. She'll ask me to like send her pictures. Like, I don't want anything with your ass or your tits out. And I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. But like, they just know that it's me. I think honestly, it's kind of like how you said your parents can't really tell you anything because like you're an attorney.
Yeah.
Me, because I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I guess if I was like fucking up and I get a job and they probably would like have more but I'm a successful, educated woman. Like, they can't really say anything. Like, they
Yeah,
can
and I
take away job opportunities because I'm not. I've been
exactly and
14 years. Like, I thought, what are they gonna say? You know?
yeah, and I think that's a perfect segue because I think I even in American culture, but I definitely know in Asian cultures, when I got my piercings or my tattoos in high school, my parents' mentality is like, oh shit, she's gonna go down the wrong path. She's gonna be like, she's gonna join gangs and do drugs and not go to school and not get an education. But you are highly educated. You have multiple masters. Like you said, you joined the military. Now you're out of the military. I believe you used your GI Bill to get not one but two masters. And are you still in school? You're still in school now, right?
But I don't have the GI anymore, but I would be,
Oh, okay.
and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
But I love school. I love school and I love learning, and that's definitely like not a side that anybody sees with me on social media. Like literally, my social media, I just look like an IG like thought or something.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to like me and like who I am as a person, not just like my modeling stuff, but haven't really figured out like quite how to do that. But yeah, my parents, they were very strict. Education was like a non-negotiable, like
Hmm.
are going to go to college. Like it wasn't like you graduate from high school and you can get a job. No, it was you're going to college. And my were, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to be an attorney. Like, that's what I want to do. Bachelor, bachelor studies in criminal justice. And I worked at a law firm my last year. And I was like, okay, definitely don't want to do like personal injury. Not what I want to do. And I was also working at some clubs at night. I was a shot girl, like VIP hostess. And then I asked my job at the law firm because I was a big shot girl.
Yeah.
So my parents lost their fucking mind. Like I was already it, and like I'm working in a club. They were like, you are not setting a good siblings, you're wasting your degree, you're wasting your talent. And
It's like
I
like that Mulan moment where Mushu's like, ultimate dishonor. You already got the tattoos and now you're a shot girl.
yeah.
You're going to shit.
And like honestly, like, I was not a bad kid. Like growing up, I never got into trouble, but I
Yeah.
was. Parents were so strict. Like I was sneaky about like where I would go. Like I would like go to like
Hmm.
a club, like stuff like that. But I like took care of what was important. Like I was always
Yeah.
good. And I always like was working and like making my own money. But at that point, I kind of came to like a crossroads, and I was like, you know what, I really do need to like make a decision about what I want to do, because if I want to go to law school, it's not going to pay for itself. I
Hmm.
need to figure out like it, you know, work at a firm that's going to like help me with my tuition or like what I'm going to do. And ultimately, like I ended up joining the Navy. And so my original plan was do my 4 years, get out, use the GI Bill, go to law school. So I
Which
ended
is a great plan for anyone who wants to go to law school, because law school is super expensive. And I actually went to school with a couple people who did that, who was in the military for 4 years. One guy, I think, was like, oh, after 4 years, it felt okay. And when I was deployed, I was making that back, because what people don't know is that when you're deployed, you're not taxed, because it's like international income or something. So just a quick caveat, that's actually a very great idea.
yeah. So
But go ahead.
Hawaii. But I ended up getting a job in intelligence, and it wasn't anything I'd ever considered before. And I don't come from a military family, so it definitely surprised a lot of people when I was like, "Bye,"
Yeah.
because like nobody could imagine, not even me. He would ask me like, how much for the military. Well, I ended up, I really loved it, and I actually fell in love with my job. And I did do a deployment. I went to Afghanistan my last year, and I started talking to some other people that were like civilian government contractors. And I was like, all right, so you guys are doing the same job, making more money with less stress and like the little bullshit that comes with the military. So I was,
Hmm.
that's what I'm gonna do. And I was like, fuck law school. I'm gonna come back as a contractor. And so I I got back from Afghanistan. My contract was up. Got out of the military. I ended up going to grad school. I went to Hawaii Pacific University, and right about the time when I was supposed to start working on my thesis, I dropped out, and I took a deployment, and I spent about 5 years, like on total 5 years, like on and off, working in Afghanistan
Oh,
as
wow.
and I kind of abandoned like going back to school, and I was like, oh, at this point, like I'm too old, whatever. And I got burnt out, like being out there for so long, and it was like,
Hmm.
I came back to the States, and I was like, I don't want to go back and get my master's. Like, it's going to take too long. Maybe I'll get a couple like graduate certificates. So I got like some graduate certificates amount of time to get a master's. So I got two of those, and I was like, I didn't even do anything with these. Um, and honestly, it was when I met my husband, got married. He has always really pushed me to like go after like my dreams. And he's always supported me no matter what. And he was like, cool. And so I didn't know if I had GI Bill left because I had out before
Mm,
a failure, like one starting over. And he was super encouraging. And I went back. I did like an accelerated program, got my master's in a year, and I was like, I love this. I love school. Like this is what I'm meant to be doing.
yeah.
And then I was like, I'm doing it again. So then the next year I went and got another one. Uh,
Another one. You got to do like the DJ Khaled voice.
anything with like any of my degrees. Um, because I'm still working in like in Intel. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that. And you and your husband actually got married during COVID, right? You guys just kind of eloped out to Joshua Tree, and I've been following you guys for a minute. Well, following you for a minute, so I kind of feel like I've been part of this whole relationship journey with you as well. And it sounds like your husband's very supporting, like you just said. He supports and just encourages you, whether it's bodybuilding or school. So how did you guys meet, and when did you guys meet?
we met in 2019. We met on Tinder, and
The OG app.
yeah, I think he was the only person that I matched with on Tinder because I was on Hinge for a while, and
Okay.
Tinder's like a hookup scene. I don't want that. And I was I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go on Tinder. So I matched with him. And, I don't know if you've ever like met my husband or like talked to him, but he's a very quirky dude. He's really silly. He's shy. He's shy. When you first meet him, oh, but, like honestly, like he's really weird. Um, we're talking, right? And he told me that he was celebrating every day for the whole year. You know how like some days it's like National Donut Day, National
Yeah.
Chocolate Day. He was
Gosh, I love that. That's so cool.
so we met in May 2019, and he said, want to go to dinner with me on Friday? Friday I'm celebrating National Escargot Day.
Okay.
Food, and I was like, well, yes, I want to get like I love to go and I love to eat. I'm a bougie girl, so yes. So our first date was at a friend's restaurant in Hillcrest, and was there before I got, but he was only drinking water, so I didn't want to order. So I was so nervous. I was just drinking water the whole time. But I was making laugh, and he was like, I have to. I gotta go out of town tomorrow. And be back in a week. And I'd like love to take you out again. And then in my head, I was like, he's going out of town. He's not gonna hit me up. He hit me up the very next day, and he talked to me the whole time he was out of town. When he got back, he like brought me flowers. He'd set up a
Oh my goodness.
it was like an urban scavenger hunt in Balboa Park, and he just was like the most consistent, easiest person to get along with that I've like ever met. And it was like one of those things where I never had to worry if he was going to call me. I never had to worry if um if he was going to show up. I felt just very comfortable with him, and we literally like we were together ever since then.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you mentioned like consistency, right? Because love bombing is like such a thing nowadays, especially with like the apps you swipe, you see. And I just hear so many girls talk about how in the beginning it was kind of like what you said, he took you out to dinner and, with the flowers, roses, the whole 9 yards. And then it would kind of either slowly phase out or they would just ghost out, like be done. So I love that, and I think consistency is important. So if there's any guys out there listening, consistency is the name of the game. Momo is married, but your girl here is still single. You know what I'm saying?
that I do think really helped is after like early on, um, like, hey, before feelings get involved, I just want you to know I don't want any more children. Like before feelings get involved and like,
Mm-hmm.
things happen, I just want you to know like I don't want any more kids. And I was like, okay, cool. Like if we're gonna have this conversation, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I want. And I was like, I don't want kids. I don't mind being like a stepmom. And I was like, I'm not looking for a casual relationship. I'm looking for
Mm-hmm.
a partner. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to get married. It's important to me, and I want someone that's going to travel the world with me, and that is going to let me be me because I'm very headstrong and I'm really independent, and I don't need anybody, but I want someone that's going to add to my life. And we were very honest with each other very, very early on before feelings were like even really, really like there yet. And so, um, sometimes I wish I would have done that in the past to just like
Yeah.
get rid of like all that like bullshit. But I mean it worked out. And so I was just like, listen, I'm looking for a husband. And
Yeah.
I know that can sound like crazy, to some people when you're like first dating and you're like figuring out what you want, but he knew 100% what he wanted and I knew what I wanted. And I guess like it worked out because there he proposed and we've been together for 4.5 years. So
Yeah, and you guys honestly have such a beautiful relationship. I mean, obviously, what I see is only what I see on Instagram through your Instagram, but it definitely looks like you guys have similar lifestyles. Like you said, you guys are both very active. You guys are both very fit. You guys are both very inked up. And you guys have your monthly Michelin
yeah.
rated dinner. And I absolutely love that. I literally tell every girl that. And I was like, hey, if you can't do a monthly Michelin dinner, that's fine. I get it because that shit's expensive. But at least go to like a nice dinner, like a $4 sign Yelp dinner where they're going to pull out your chair or at least with like, so I just think that's so important. And I love that you guys do that and you post it because I genuinely think it really strengthens a relationship to have these weekly or monthly date nights.
Yeah.
So I think it's very beautiful that you guys show that. How is your relationship? Because I'm guessing your husband has kids from previous relationships. So how is your relationship with your I guess stepkids?
It's good. They're like 15 and 18. They're older.
Okay.
Uh, and they are up in Washington. Um, and they came down here for I think maybe like 5 or 6 weeks. Like the summer they were here. It was crowded because we live in a one-bedroom condo. So having four people in here was we got close. But it's really good. Like
Okay.
and
Good.
a dad. He goes up there a lot. I don't always go with him just because of like work and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
he see them and we're getting ready to move to Japan and so his daughter like specific like she's so excited to like come to Japan and I can't wait because I think it's going to be so fun to like shop with her and like I'm even though like Sean and I have been together for like over 4 years, it's still not like a lot of time, especially because they don't live here. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm still constantly like thinking about them and like bonding with them. But
Yeah.
like like I love our relationship and I like so I think it's really good.
That's awesome. Because I think like for me, I'm still very hesitant on dating a man with kids because it is a fragile relationship, right? Well, not fragile, but it's very
It can be
I yes, because then you're not just dating the man, then you're dating his children and then their mothers, and you don't know what that relationship's gonna be like. Um, so do you have any advice for people who are like dating and is unsure about dating a partner with kids, whether it's, male or female?
um well one thing is if like at all like then do it because
Hmm.
those kids like they can kind of pick up on that like that energy
Yeah.
whatever. um there's a lot of like baby mama drama. maybe not worth it. Because I have dated guys in the past that have kids, uh, and that can like ugh, that can really like impact.
Yeah.
But like you said, you're not just dating. It's like a whole package deal. I do think it's important to. I don't think you should meet the kids right away. I think
Yeah.
you got to make sure that like you guys have like a really solid relationship and like you're good. Um, and you guys have been able to spend that like quality time together. I think like your priorities have to line up, and you also have to know that like you're not going to be number one. Like the kids are going to be number one. You got to be
Hmm.
okay with that. Um, and I think if you are okay with that, then it's fine. But it is difficult dating someone that has children, especially when you get attached to the kids and then the relationship doesn't work out.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. Um, it was never a deal breaker for me, but it does present like it's a set of challenges. Like, not
Yeah. And since you said they're a little bit older, they're teenagers. Do they follow you on Instagram? Do they know about your OnlyFans and stuff like that?
um, I don't think his son does. His son doesn't. I don't even think he has an Instagram, but his daughter, and
Okay.
yeah, they know. Um, my sisters know. Like, I don't keep that a secret.
Hmm.
I'm not ashamed of it. I'm just selling ass and titties. I can't post it on Instagram. I'll lose my account for like time. But
Yeah.
I'm just like, you want to see it? Oh, you can pay me for it. And,
And I think you mentioned it was like your husband was also very supportive of your OnlyFans as well, right?
yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
So tell me a little bit more about that because I know people or like girls who was or are in relationships where the guy's just not even okay with their Instagram. So who literally was, would not be okay with OnlyFans. Like they would lose their shit.
in a way, because what is
Say it again, Mo. Say it again.
throw the whole man away? Come home to it. I have dated guys like that, and
Yeah.
that's why they're in the past because you're not going to tell me what I can and can't do. You're not going to tell
Yeah.
me. You're not going to tell me what I can post. Like, if you're secure in the relationship and there's trust, and you guys have open and honest communication, you've got quality time together, you've got a satisfying sex life. What do you have to worry about? Like,
Yes.
you got those three things. Like, you're good. Who cares?
I
But
I totally agree, and that's kind of what I've also told those girls. I'm like, if he's so insecure that he's not comfortable with you doing whatever you want to your body, that's not your problem. That's his problem that he needs to resolve on his own. Because a secure man would be like, yo, this my chick, she hot as fuck. Dudes are paying just to look at her, but she's in my bed or I'm in her bed, whatever. Like, like she's with me physically. I'm the one tapping that ass while you're just paying for a two-dimensional version of it. You know what I mean?
so,
So,
yeah, his idea, he was listening to a podcast, and a guy like came on and was like, "Yeah, I have an only." It was a guy, and he was like, OnlyFans. I've been keeping
oh,
my fiance been trying to save me, and I didn't want to tell her because I think he was saving money for like, their wedding thing. And he was like, I didn't want to tell her until like I could see if I could make money off of it because like if I wasn't going to make anything, like I would be too embarrassed to tell her, basically.
yeah.
And anyways, he ends up telling her, and she's pissed, and she's like, "Well, how much did you make?" And he's like, "Oh, I've made 80 grand so far." And she was,
80?
yeah, and he's a plumber or something. 80 grand. And she
Oh,
was
shit.
like, you know what? Keep doing it. Like, she,
For reals.
like, I think if she was like, oh, you made like $80, like, fuck no. She's like, oh, you made 80 grand for us? Telling Dick,
Yeah.
like, keep going. So he tells me about this, and he's like, we can pay our mortgage. And I'm thinking he's telling me because he wants one. So I'm
Sell that dick pic, babe. Sell it.
like, people want to do it, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I meant for you to do it. And I was like, me? And he's like, oh, you don't have to, but, he's like, you have a lot of pictures that you can't post anyways. Like, I have a lot of, like, topless pictures from, like,
Mm-hmm.
or, like, sometimes you can post yourself in, like, a thong. Sometimes you can't. Instagram's, like, very...
Yeah, it just like depends on their mood, of, like what they'll delete one day and what they'll allow.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah.
Okay, I already have,
Yeah.
like, sell it. Like, I would have posted it for free if I could have it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I made an OnlyFans. I had it for like a year. It was doing like pretty decent. Like I don't, and like not shaming anyone, but I don't do like I'm not like having sex on like camera. I'm not doing any. It's mostly
Yeah. You're not doing porn.
yeah. I'm not doing porn, and like that's like I've thought about it, good money in it, but also I'm like I really want that.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's like ass and titty pictures. Some I might do like nude selfies or something. But for the most part, like I'm not doing anything with toys. I'm not like
Yeah.
oh, let's have like a video of you like stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's mostly just like nudes, like ass and titties and stuff. Um, but then I was like so busy with work, and then the last thing that I wanted to do was like come home and like message these guys because that's where the money is. It's in like the messaging, like private messaging, where
Oh, interesting.
you like view other pictures. So like maybe I'll put like a topless picture or like do lingerie like on my main feed, which is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
going for. But then I want to see like a video where I'm like taking the lingerie off, like I'm gonna charge you a little bit more for that. Some guys like don't like that, and some guys do, because some guys are like, well, I'm already paying a subscription, I should get to see it. Well, guess what? You're not entitled to shit. You're
Yeah.
paying. I allow you to see.
Yeah.
That rocks. Um, Literally got a message like that today, and I'm like, subscribe then. I don't care. Um, so I ended up deleting my original OnlyFans after about a year. And on like my good months, I was probably pulling in like 6 grand a month.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Like a slow month, maybe like 2 grand. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I love to like shop and stuff. I'm high maintenance, but I'm maintaining.
You have great style though, because like I feel like some people can get designer, but the designer's wearing them. Like they're not like I hate saying it, but they're not like pulling it off quite as much. It's like I hate the saying putting lipstick on a pig, but you can't just wear a big ass Gucci belt or Louis Vuitton belt and not match the whole outfit to it, or the like the makeup and the energy and the vibe. Like I think I've followed you, I think originally because of bodybuilding, but then I just loved pretty much everything about you. Your zero fucks given, your tattoos. I love the risky, sexy pictures. But you know, on your stories, like you said, you do also show more of your personality. Like when you and Shauna like working out or being weirdos at the gym. I just think like that's so cute. But you have amazing style, and yeah, I love watching you on Instagram.
I thought because have I we're not friends anymore, but I had a very close friend for a long time that constantly put down what I was wearing. Constantly.
Oh shit, I'm so sorry.
Like anything that I did, she'd be like, ew. No. And I let it roll off of my shoulders for like over a decade. And then honestly, it got to the point where I was just like, what is your problem? Like, you and I have completely different style. Just because you wouldn't wear something, like, doesn't mean you have to put down what I'm sorry
Yeah.
that I wear a crop top and, like, Lululemon leggings every fucking day. Like, which, like, that's your thing. Like, that's your thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear that same shit every day.
Yeah.
Like, I want to wear stuff that, like, gives me, like, a dopamine rush. Makes me feel good. Like, I'm working from home right now. And you know what? I'm great.
No, I totally feel you on that. Friendship breakups are hard. I think that's something what people don't talk about. I've gone through a friendship breakup as well, and it does not hurt less than a relationship or you know breakup.
up. Like you
Yeah.
really like
Yeah.
lost that friendship with that person. It's different when you're like friends with someone because
Yeah.
you
Yes.
I'm literally friends with you because I want
Yeah.
that's what it is. And then when they do you dirty
Yeah.
after years, like it does hurt.
It
Um,
really hurts.
but even with that, like I'm never changed like me. Like I'm
Yeah.
what I want to wear and what I like. I'm gonna do like make me feel good, even if like other people aren't wearing it. Maybe other people wouldn't style it that way. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm the one that has to wear it. So
So do you style yourself for all your shoots as well?
yeah.
That's awesome. So, and then I guess my other question is, what do you do with all these clothes? Because I feel like you would, like you say you're in a one bedroom condo, and I'm just like, is 90% of the space just Mo's clothes for photo shoots? Because,
I I've started like tailoring things. So like before, like I would like sell a lot of my clothes, like after like shoots. But then like I've just been like losing a lot of weight this year, and then I've had some things that like I've only gotten to wear once or never worn. So now I've just been like taking them to get tailored to like fit me, so I don't have to get rid of them. But I give a lot away. I give a lot to my sisters. I'll donate or I'll like sell. I'll take sell stuff on like Poshmark or take it to like flashbacks or like um because I even though I do have a lot of stuff, I don't like clutter
yeah,
and uh, that's my board like not minimal but like manageable. I don't want to have like a ton of shit.
okay,
I like I only want to keep the things I love and that I know that I'm gonna wear. Um,
okay,
and if it's not that, like I'll get rid of it. I'm not like attached to my things. Same with like my bags and stuff. Like I'll buy like designer. I try to buy like pre-owned because I want to change things up. And
yeah.
so like if I'm gonna buy a new bag, I have to. So I'm pretty good about like containing my closet stuff.
Nice. And then for you've done obviously lots of photo shoots since your first shoot in 2014. Have you ever had like bad experiences with photographers?
Um, I haven't had like a bad experience when I actually worked with photographers, but when photographers like reach out to me and
Mm-hmm.
maybe on like a certain look or a certain theme or whatever, and then it starts to get weird, or
Okay.
they'll be hitting on me, or then they'll say immediate no, immediate
Okay.
like
Okay.
I don't want to do that. Like that's
Yeah.
I won't shoot with a photographer if I've never shot with you. This is specifically for male photographers. If I've never shot with you before, and the first thing that you ask me is to shoot nude, implied nude, or lingerie, I'm not going to work with you because
Okay.
we don't have that relationship. And like, if you don't have a portfolio, I see any like work that you've done. Why the fuck am I going to shoot you implied nude? Like, absolutely not. Like that's a huge red flag to me. Um,
So you filter your photographers male photographers you haven't met with their portfolios and credibility to make sure they're not just a pervert with a camera.
100%. And if I'm shooting with male photographer time, I will not go alone. I will bring someone and I'll let them know I'm going to bring so and so. They can help
Mm-hmm.
you. There with me. If they have a problem with it, that's a red flag. I'm not going to shoot. Like I will cancel the shoot. Uh,
Nice.
I yeah, I'm just not going to do that. Like
Yeah.
there's sure that's worth it. Like to put my get the feeling like you get the ick or
Yeah.
whatever. You feel uncomfortable. Like you get those reactions for a reason. And you need to listen to them because like I don't want to put myself in a situation like a risky situation.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, definitely. And I think that's really important, especially in this day and age, because everybody's trying to be internet famous. And, these girls, if someone who's not as experienced or confident as you, a photographer reaches out, they're probably very flattered. And then they're not realizing like the potential risk that they can put themselves in. So I think that's really important. You talk about how you filter your photographers, and to the buddy system, that we learned at school for crossing the road applies to anything. So I do the same thing. If it's a male photographer that I'm working with for the first time, I ask who's all going to be there. Sometimes they say, oh, I have an assistant, and then I'll look up who they are. But other times I'll bring a friend as well, because it's safety's definitely first. I can't preach that enough. Safety and health. So just a quick touch on when Momo says she gained 70 pounds in a year. That is a lot of weight, but because she is fit and active, it's not like 70 pounds of fat just came on her and she just became like obese. Some of that is muscle, and she still looked great. She was still very healthy. And even with her weight loss now, it's more of a fat cut. She's not starving herself. She's on a plan. Like she says, she's still with Team Precision Elite. So she's not doing it in an unhealthy way. And I know in bodybuilding, there's a lot of steroids, there's a lot of unhealthy things. But for me, I always want to preach health. And so, for those listening who may not know Mo, the 70 pounds, it wasn't 70 pounds of fat. She was still healthy. She was still fit. And the weight loss wasn't a starvation diet. It was a structured diet. So that was the caveat from before.
Yeah.
But that's what I always want to, preach and tell girls. It's your safety and your health is the number one thing. No follower, no like is worth putting your health or your safety at risk.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important. And I know you're a busy girl. I don't want to hold you up for too long, but what advice would you give? I know we already talked quite a bit, but what advice would you give to girls who want to, before we get into that, when these photographers reach out to you, are they paid shoots? Are they trade shoots? I know you have a very large following on Instagram. So maybe if you could tell us like your Instagram growth and how you grew, and whether you're getting paid for these shoots as well.
Photos that went viral. There was one. It was shot by Lopez. We were actually shooting content for OnlyFans, and we're trying to do some like quick behind the scenes photos. I think the one that went viral, I think it's like the purple top, and it's like a lot of under boob and like underwear. Like you can't even see my face.
Yes, it's like the laundry day shoot.
Yeah, so that was actually done with my iPhone, and
oh shit,
it went viral. Like that picture, I reached like my followers. Like I went 1,000. It was like 50,000, like 75,000 a month. Like that.
Oh, it was that picture. I thought it was your OnlyFans that really launched you. It was that one picture.
I've actually had a lot of subscribers.
Oh.
Loyal people that, and so my Instagram blew up from that picture. And
wow.
My girlfriend Ashley, Summer shot up. And it was her and I were in like a thong bodysuit, and it was like I think we were like had our arms around each other, and it was just our. And that picture went like viral, and that one reached like 8 million.
Oh shit!
Like that was crazy. So after I posted those two pictures, and like I was seeing them everywhere, was being reposted on all kinds of stuff. My followers, like it went really, really high. I have not had anything go like viral since then, and I actually lose followers every month. Like I think I just 1,000 followers last month. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with my engagement. My engagement is not great, and it's mostly followers, and I really want to switch that to more female followers.
Okay.
Because like the modeling life, show more of like my outfits, especially like moving to Japan.
Yeah.
Not going to be working. So I really want to focus on kind of like doing my own thing, like YouTube, blogging, really like showing like my life. So I'm hoping I can like pivot and like have more females that are interested in following me because I don't want it to only be ass and titties.
Yeah.
But I think you can be everything. I think you can show ass and titties, and you can also show your style. You can also date it, also have like a great career, be a good wife, be a good friend.
Yes.
Like you don't have to just like keep up the thing.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I've always told women like you can have it all. It's just how bad you want it and what you want and finding a balance between all of that. I've never had to believe it's like, oh, you could only have a family or a career. Like I know in my early 20s I focused a lot on my career, but I've never been like, oh, I'm even though I'm 30 and in Chinese cultures I'm considered a quote unquote leftover woman. But I firmly believe I can have it all, and I but firmly believe every woman can have it all, just how bad you want it and how you're going to navigate it. And I think more girls should follow you because I think you're such an inspiration. You're such an inspiration for me. And just kind of an all around like badass woman. Like I love this conversation. I learned so much about you today as well. So where so before I was asking what advice would you give to girls who want to grow their following and be do you consider yourself an influencer or just or a model?
I don't consider myself an influencer. Like, I don't,
Okay.
I don't. I'm not selling anything. I I just I post pictures that I like and like
Yeah.
I share stories like bomb ass restaurants and just stuff like my friends and like my family. I think that the word influencer, like the term influencer, kind of has like a negative connotation. People are always like, "Oh, like you're just an influencer." I think it can
Yeah.
be really bad. Maybe some people might think I'm an influencer because I might be like influencing people's decisions on like modeling or like giving them like inspiration for like a type of shoot or like maybe like a certain vibe that they want to like recreate.
Yeah.
I think inspiration from anywhere. I don't really consider myself one, but it doesn't bother me if someone else did. I think if you want to grow like a good following and like a consistent following, I would
Hmm.
don't try to be anyone that you're not. Just stay true to yourself. And I always feel like consistency is like key, like posting consistently, mixing up like between just like static posts and like a carousel post where you're
Okay.
doing. I know,
Reels are time consuming. They take a long time.
girl, I have been trying out.
Yeah, I can't figure out TikTok either. I'm like, damn, is this how I know I'm getting old when I can't figure out like
I will like post something on Instagram and people, y'all don't want to
yeah.
on dinners, like so.
I don't know. I did one TikTok and I'm like, this took me 2 hours. I don't have time for this shit.
Hard to and then TikTok like
Yeah.
have, and I feel like I can barely like I can barely like handle one, and
Yeah.
want to start a YouTube. So it's like I'm learning too. If people have tips, like send them to me.
Are you monetizing off your Instagram with the large following you have now?
No, I don't even know how to do that. Like if anyone knows and they want to help me hit a girl up, um, yeah,
Yeah.
I,
Okay.
I have gotten paid for shoots before. It's pretty much like a mix. Like paid for some. Um, if a photographer reaches out to me, it's usually just for trade.
Yeah.
If I were to reach out to a photographer and wanting to shoot at a like specific like studio, like I'm gonna cover those costs because
Okay.
I want to do that. I will never ask someone to shoot me for free. Like
Yeah.
I always assume if I'm asking that I'm going to pay.
Yeah.
Um, but photographers reaching out to me and they have a location and they have an idea in mind, then it's for trade. 'Cause
Okay.
for someone to be like, hey, I would really love to shoot you. And I'm like, all right, cool. And they're like, yeah, I'm $700. I'd be like, the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you slid in my DM, homie. You better check yourself.
No, I'm not gonna
No.
pay you.
Yeah.
Hit me up. Like, if you want me to come down. Well, um, but yeah, I'm always like super grateful when, photographers want to collab with me. Lately I've been shooting with my girl Keisha. We have been making like just I just love it. It's like it's different than what I normally shoot. It's not like super over the top like risque. They're more just like really beautiful like
Yes.
pictures. And like she's amazing and I've loved working with her. We've been collabing all the time, trying to get as much content as possible before I move. Because I feel like I'm gonna have to start all over once I get to Japan. But
I absolutely love like your more softer sensual shoots because obviously like visually you're very sexy, right? So the sexy shoots is kind of like, okay, we like she's sexy, we get it. But when you do those softer sensual shoots with your look, like I love it. I love that like almost that contrast. Like you see this inked up girl, but she's so soft and so sensual and so sexy. And I think I love those shoots, by the way. So I'm definitely digging for your content and
trying to branch out, trying to do it's just fun, because you like you also like do photo shoots and stuff.
yeah.
Almost like a chance to dress up and like be another character for a little bit and just show like another side of yourself.
Yeah.
And then when it's all done, like you can go back to like your sweats and just like
Yeah.
and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Just know that you could be the girl that can be both, right? Like when they say like be a girl that can be both, like you can be all of the above.
I
You know.
for anyone that's listening, if you wanted to shoot and you're like waiting for the right time or you're like, let me just lose like 5 more pounds. No, just do it. Like, just do it. And if you're not good with hair and makeup, get one of your friends to do it for you.
Yeah.
Or like if you're able to like book like hair and makeup, like pull
Yeah.
out like on a shoot, like you can get stuff like and you can borrow like clothes. You get it on Amazon. Like there is not going to be like a right time where you feel like 100% confident. There's always going to be something where you're like, oh, I wish like this was like a little tighter,
Yeah.
or like wish it wasn't on my period. I can't tell you how many times I have like have a shoot booked for like a bikini shoot or lingerie, and I freaking get my period like right before, and like I'm like, oh my god, I don't shoot. Like you just don't feel good.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like there is no perfect time to do it, and you are going to feel so good. Bring your girlfriend with you that is like the ultimate hype woman. Like having a friend there being like, oh my god, yes, like you look so amazing. Like do this, do that, like pose like this. Like I'm telling you, it's a game changer. You're gonna feel so good about yourself, and it's gonna be like the best money you could spend. Like if people can
Yeah.
hundreds of dollars on the weekend, like getting drunk, like you can spend a couple $100 like doing a photo shoot to have like pictures that you're gonna have forever where you're like, damn, I'm a bad bitch. Like just
Yeah.
do it. Like it's so it's hard when like, some of my girlfriends are like, oh, I've always wanted to do this, but I'm waiting for the right time where I gotta wait until I look like this. It's like, no.
Yeah. And kind of to piggyback on what you said, like it doesn't have to be super expensive. I may or may not have bought clothes off Amazon for photo shoots and then return within the 30 days. Okay. That may or may not have.
So many of this. And honestly, I probably would too, but I hate going to the post office. I hate returning things. I'm so bad about it. If I buy something at like the mall and it doesn't fit, or I order something online.
Yeah, I hate going to the store and returning it, but for Amazon, like I go to EOS out in Point Loma and there's a Staples in the same community or in the same little plaza as EOS. So I just drop them off at Staples. And now they do like a no, like you don't even need to package it. You could just select which Staples you want to return it. So I just put them back in there and take them to Staples and they package it, return it, and then I get a credit on my Amazon account. I don't know if that's considered petty theft, but I consider it borrowing.
That's big enough money. Like I was doing this mom and pop like or like that. Wear that shit to your shoot and then return it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Lots of it. Like
Yeah.
lots of girls do it. But
And makeup doesn't have to be super expensive. Like I personally love playing with makeup. So, you know, like what you were saying earlier, if girls can practice their angle, playing with their face, playing with their body in the mirror, play with makeup. It's so much fun. Like play with what foundation works best for your face and the lighting and different stuff. And then there's also YouTube. Like I think it's so important for girls to know how to do their makeup. It doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be like makeup by Mario skills, but learn your face and learn what colors work for your face. Learn how to chisel your face, even if you don't do the full contour. So yeah, just to kind of piggyback off what you said, like learn and practice makeup with your own face, because then you also know, like, even if you do get hair and makeup done, then you can kind of tell her like, hey, I like a darker look. Cause I know even for competition, the first few times I had my makeup done, yeah, it was like professional makeup and it looked nice, but it didn't feel like me. I didn't connect with the look. But then later I was like, hey, you know, this is my suit color. I kind of want this color shadow, or, you know, my skin is this type, because people also have very different skin types. So if you have a foundation that's not fitting for your skin type, you could look crazy on camera, no matter how beautiful you are, because your skin's just going to look crazy.
and like, I mean, you can like ask girls too, like,
Yeah.
like you follow on social, love the way she does her makeup, or you love how or whatever. DM her, like just DM them. Like if people DM me and they ask me about like my makeup or where I got an outfit or whatever, I always respond. I will always, always, always respond to another girl, guys.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier you wanted to have more of a female following. This is just kind of like my suggestion based on what you said. Because I think, like I said, I love your makeup looks. You say you do most of them yourself. You style yourself. I think if you put in the caption what makeup you use, where you got your outfits, I think that will attract a lot of girls, because I personally want to know that. Like, I love looking at your sexy photos, but then it's like, well, I also love her lipstick. Like, what lipstick is that? Or like, I love that top. Like, what top is that? So that I literally just that's just me thinking out loud, like for growing like a female audience, because those are information I would want to know looking at your pictures.
Yeah, I always do that on like the pictures that I post. Like I can put that like tag like everything. So
yeah, because some girls, like you said, like they're shy about reaching out, because it's intimidating. You have what, over 165,000 followers. Like people might not, or girls might not want to DM you because they're like, oh well, she's insta famous and I'm nobody. Like why would she respond? Or like, oh, I don't want to just randomly slide in her DMs. So yeah, so I think that information could be helpful in growing a female audience.
I will like
Yes.
other girl that have two like ass and titty pictures go by.
Yes.
The only reason I have those followers, and like you should not be intimidated, because like I'll talk to anyone. So
yeah. Most of girls, for everybody that's listening out there, I know she super supports women as well. So like she said, don't be scared to slide.
Me and like having me on here, because like I hope you're giving yourself enough credit too, because like
oh, thank you.
And you have like your like that is so badass. Like you should be so fucking proud of yourself like every single day. I
Thank you, Mo.
like literally living the dream. Like you came here, you're fucking working hard, you've got a badass career, and like oh, shit, you can take care of yourself. Like, I mean, that is really, really amazing. I really, really love like women prioritize themselves and their careers and like do not rely on men for
Yeah.
everything. I think it's really, really amazing because like those things that you have can never be taken away from you. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. And
I
that's something I always preach to girls, like don't let a man's money blind you because he can take that away from you and you're going to feel so shitty when he just pulls that money rug from underneath you and make you feel like nothing. Like always hold on to the things that money can't buy and the things that they can't take away from you, like your education, like your self-confidence, like your health. So thank you so much, Mo. That's so sweet. Thank you.
and like that's like the vibe that I do. And so when you asked me to come on your podcast, yeah, like your person, like
Thank you so much. Yeah, I wanted to start something kind of like you said to also grow like my female followers and to really have a platform where we can discuss pretty much everything women, right? Like whether it is sports or dating or health or upbringing, I think we have such we each have such a beautiful and unique story, and I'm in so much admiration of you, of what we talked about for the last hour and a half, and I was just so happy you agreed because it is new. I'm still playing around with the logos and kind of letting this grow organically and naturally, like you said. But I want this to really be like a safe space and share a lot of stories, especially for women and women of color, because it's not easy. We make it look easy on Instagram, but it's not. So, and then lastly, Mel, where can they find you?
um on Instagram and or um uh and on that Instagram there's links to my YouTube, which is Momo in Tokyo, my TikTok, also Momo in Tokyo. There's also my spicy link on there. So yeah, I don't have anything on YouTube yet, but I'm moving to Japan in like 5 or 6 weeks.
Oh shit, that's soon.
I will be there for about 3 to 5 years. So I am hoping to document everything. They have the most Michelin star restaurants in any of the world.
Oh, I did not know that.
Do as many as I can. Learning Japanese, all my adventures. So like, yeah, I would really love for people to subscribe to my YouTube because I am going to be sharing everything on there, and I'm literally giving up like my career that I've had for the past like 14 years to move to a country where I don't speak the language, don't know anybody, to follow my husband. It's going to be a really big adventure, and I would just love for everyone to come along.
Yes, and I will put all of that information in the description below in case you missed it. I am very excited for this new chapter. I think you are gonna do amazing in Japan. I know you were out there not very long ago, so I followed that little venture, but I will definitely also I don't do TikTok, so I'm probably not gonna follow you on TikTok, but I will be following you on YouTube for all your Japan adventures, and I'm so excited to see what the next few years has in store for you. And thank you again so much for being on this podcast. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much and have a great rest of your week, Mo.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.